Sierra Leone became the 100th member of the United Nations on 27 April 1961 and first secured a seat in the UN Security Council from 1970 to 1971 under the late President Siaka Stevens. After missing the opportunity for over 5 decades, President Dr. Julius Maada Bio has once again brought this honor home. Sierra Leone was endorsed by the African Union, strongly supported by ECOWAS, and secured 184 out of 192 votes during the bid.
Sierra Leone's aspiration to go back to the UN Security Council after 50 years is a perfect opportunity to tell the world about the success story of Sierra Leone.
At the UN General Assembly 2023 in New York, the country clinched the seat with a significant margin, obtaining 188 out of 192 votes in the election.
It is with profound honor and a deep sense of fulfillment that I convey to you the news that Sierra Leone, for the first time in 53 years, and for only the second time in this country's history, has been elected as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Our return to the United Nations Security Council is a generational accomplishment. It is a testament to my government's transformation of Sierra Leone's international reputation and standing.
Sierra Leone's presence in the world's peace and security administrative body represents the country's unique success as a democratic and peaceful nation that has transitioned from a decade-long civil war.
When I was elected president in April 2018, I pledged to our people that I will transform Sierra Leone's international reputation and standing. Sierra Leone will bring a wealth of first-hand experience, drawing from an experience in conflict resolution, the role of women in peacekeeping and reconciliation processes, accountability, amnesty, and human rights. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we accede to the UN Security Council with clearly defined objectives that we believe are achievable under the theme Partnership, Multilateralism, and Representative Approach to Sustain the Global Peace and Security.
On January 2nd this year, the UN Security Council inaugurated the 5 new members for the 2024-2025 term, with Sierra Leone taking center stage.
The national flag of Sierra Leone.
The vision that earned Sierra Leone's victory is inspired by 7 key priorities:
peacemaking, peacekeeping, human rights, accountability, prioritizing the broader role of women and youth in the pursuit of global peace and security, and recognition that the adverse impact of climate change undermines global development, peace, and security.
During his tenure as chairman of the APRM Forum of Heads of State and Government and coordinator of the C10 Heads of State and Government, President Dr. Julius Maada Bio used international platforms to advocate for the reform of the UN Security Council to end the injustice Africa has been subjected to.
Africa glaringly stands alone as the only region without permanent representation within the Security Council and is conspicuously unrepresented in its non-permanent category. The United Nations security remains trapped in the era of 1945, when much of Africa was still in the regrettable grip of colonialism. Africa demands for 2 permanent seats, complete with commensurate rights, including the veto, if maintained, and 5 non-permanent seats, are issues of equity, justice, and our right to have an equal say in the decision-making on issues that affect the African region.
As one of the 5 permanent members of the Council, the U.S. has pledged its full support to President Biyo's campaign for Africa's membership in the permanent category of the UN Security Council and to address concerns of underrepresentation in the non-permanent category.
As announced by President Biden during the Africa Leaders Summit, as the United States supports a permanent seat for Africa on the Security Council. As you know, there are what we refer to as the A3. There are 3 African members who at any given time are part of the 10 elected member seats, but we believe that it's important that Africa have a permanent seat, and we are supporting that in the discussions about how to reform the Security Council.
In just 7 months into its term in the UN Security Council, Sierra Leone has excelled in advocating for global peace and security, particularly amid the Israel-Palestine conflict and the Russia-Ukraine war, which have seriously undermined the global economy, peace and security.
We express serious concerns about the deteriorating security situation in Ukraine, which is a threat to life, peace, stability, and prosperity of not only the Ukrainians, but now Russian people who are directly affected, but also the entire region. We are also seriously concerned about the humanitarian crisis, which continues to inflict widespread devastation and hardship on particularly the Ukrainian population.
Sierra Leone continues to express in the strongest terms its condemnation of the heinous attack on the 7th of October 2023 on Israeli civilians by Hamas, which according to OCHA led to the killing of over 1,200 Israelis and foreign nationals, including 36 children, with reported perpetration of sexual violence and the taking of civilian hostages. On this note, we emphasize that the persons responsible must be held accountable.
Despite the challenging global situation, Sierra Leone has endeavored to be a voice of reason, with balance and objectivity, a small state that seeks to promote the respect for and adherence to international law, the United Nations Charter, and dialogue for the peaceful settlement of disputes. This has been reflected in our statement on issues such as the conflict in Gaza, Ukraine, Sudan, and others.
Over the next 2 years, Sierra Leone will be part of the unifying force for the prevention of conflict and the promotion of global peace and security. This achievement is made possible because of President Biyo's relentless efforts in rebranding the image of Sierra Leone.